Morning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate them. They mean the world to me. In the chat, because this is a live video, I will be putting in my new Linktree links. Let's try this and see how well it works. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Oh, I screwed it up already. Hold on. I'm such a ding dong. Give me one moment here, guys. All right, so I have a new set of Linktree links. Let's see. And we're going to close that and we're going to Control V there. And that didn't work because, Dan, you're a dong. All right, let's try this one more time. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, come on. All right, so Control C. Control V. There we go. There's the new Linktree links with everything that anybody ever needs to know about me. This is the forecast for the month of April for the sign of Leo. If you have a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Leo or heavily placed planets, which I would consider 3 or more to be heavily placed, you may want to watch this video. It will give you insight into the type of April you may be having. Just so you know, it is a broad spectrum reading. Sorry, my dog is like licking. She's a bulldog. Hey, lady friend, that's just gross. You sound like, Darth Vader with like a wet asthma problem. Can you stop? Thank you. All right, so this is a broad spectrum. Oh, she's leaving. She's going into the other room. She's insulted. Well, whatever. This is a broad spectrum reading for those with the sign of Leo heavily placed in their charts. It is broad spectrum, therefore, if it makes sense, great, utilize it to the best of your ability. If it doesn't, that's okay too. It could be many different factors. It could be the houses your planets are in. It could be the degrees of houses. There's a lot of things with astrology, so I can't hit every Leo perfectly, but I do speak in broad terms in hopes of reaching as many of you as possible to give you an idea of what kind of things you can look forward to in the month of April. If you're interested in a private reading for your April month or on any subject, you can contact me via the Facebook business page. Check out my daily forecast here on the YouTube channel. Please hit like and subscribe if you choose to come back. I'd greatly love to see you around, and always leave me a question or comment. When looking at any of my videos, especially with these monthly Tarotscopes, when you make any decisions in your day-to-day life, those decisions are solely your responsibility, keeping that in mind. Always, use your own highest intelligence and intuition when making your decisions. Never take anything that I say over that of a professional in their field, like a doctor, or lawyer, or therapist. Always listen to them first and foremost, okay? So let's get into this and see what's going on with my Leos. My lovely, lovely Leos. You decadent little lions, you. The first card for the signifier is coming from the I Am Vibrational deck. And I just this was calling out to me because it was bright orange, the outside box, and it made me feel like, ooh, the fire signs. Yes, orange. I am statements. Let's get into it. Aries, season, Leo, Sag. Let's do it. So this will be your signifier, Leo. It'll tell us I don't know, maybe what the theme is for you for this month, what to focus on this month, maybe your mantra for this month. Let's see what it says. I am vibrationally worthy and value the greatness my world brings to me. Wow. Card number 6. 6 usually brings about a sense of balance. So I like that. And I like that it says that I am vibrationally worthy and value the greatness my world brings to me. Now, Leo being worthy or considering themselves worthy has never been a long shot or a hard thing, in my opinion, for the Leos. Y'all know your worth. You guys are wonderful. You're very generous, loving, caring, gregarious, sociable. There's no denying that, right? People love the Leos. But this idea of valuing the greatness my world brings to me. I kind of like that for you guys. Like, it feels like a level of gratitude or a depth of gratitude that you guys maybe get to experience this month that will be exciting and enjoyable to you. There's also, I love this center of light that's happening here. So ideally, there might be a light that's emanating from Leo this month, maybe because it's Aries season, your fellow fire sign. But whatever that truth is, that light is that is within you, allows you to truly shine and understand not only your own worthiness, because I think that you guys are a very confident sign, but to appreciate sort of like be in gratitude for what's going on around you, what's being given to you, or maybe receive gratitude from, you know, maybe the environment, the people you're interacting with. They'll get to see you in a even brighter, more positive light than maybe say they normally do. And so you'll get to sort of vibe with that and feel that and hopefully celebrate that. I also associate 6 kind of like, when I think of the 6 of Wands, that's always about celebration. The 6 of Cups is about nostalgia and family. So 6s are also really warm in the tarot and loving and endearing and all of that. So this card being card number 6 speaks really beautifully to that energy. So I hope that you guys really do have a wonderful April. So let's get into these cards and see what's going on. The middle card is going to be your center for the month of April. It tells me a little bit about where you're centered at. You won't be here the full total month of April, but you'll go in and out of this card throughout the month. It gives me insight into kind of not only where you're centered at, but what you could potentially be creating for the future. So this is the 9 of Cups. I saw this as an outside influence in the previous Aries reading, so I'm not really mad at this. It is a water sign, which makes me a little bit, you know, it makes me feel a little funny for the Leos having a water sign in the center, but it being the 9 of Cups does feel very worthy. There's, you know, obviously we've got that cat in the center there surrounded by all of those 9 cups. It's about emotional abundance. It's about feeling that emotional connection to maybe ourselves and those around us, and being really also appreciative of that, having everything that we need this month, really focusing on the joy of that and the acceptance, or like I said earlier, the gratitude for that, right? This Leo or you guys as Leos will be sort of the center of your own universe, and feeling really good about that and having no qualms about that is sort of my feeling. I kind of like this only because it just sort of feels like you guys get to sort of let everything come to you versus you going out and making things happen, right? It's almost like the light that we see here draws others in, sort of like, I don't want to say when it's dragonflies, it's the wrong thing. You know how like a light attracts little bugs? not that y'all are gonna attract little bugs, but do you know what I mean? It's like a moth to a flame. That's what I'm trying to say. So like this is your flame, Leo. Like that's your flame, that white cat sitting in the center there, and all these cups come around us, all of these emotional well-beings or situations, feelings, connections, all of that sort of stuff. And we get to understand the worthiness of that, the emotional, the feeling of that. And Aries had a very similar thing too. Like maybe my fire signs are getting a little mushy on me this month, which is fine. Like go for it. I love a good mushy anything. But this 9 of Cups says that like we're attracting to us the things that feel good, or the things that make us feel good, and we understand that we're worthy, and we're also like we value that. Like that's what this card here says at the beginning, right? We value that, we're appreciative of that, and we're going to just attract more and more of that. Now let's get deeper into the cards and see what's going on. The next card is the Foundation. It tells me a bit about sort of what was going on in the past that laid the foundation for things to be the way that they are today in your cards. This card can also signify or represent sort of what from the past could be pushing us in the future, or sometimes I call this card like the linchpin, in the sense that it could be the memory of this event from the past that could be holding everything together in the present now. I hope that makes sense and that's not too weird of a thought, but let's look at it. Okay, hey, 9 of Swords. All right, so we've got 2 9s out, 9 and 9. I think that's a real interesting energy. 9s represent personal completion, or coming to a completion, getting close to that 10 where we close the entire chapter on something and start over in tarot. The 9 of Swords would be your complementary energy, that of the the element of air. But this being from the past, this feels like a stressful past. The Nine of Swords indicates nightmares, stresses, sometimes too much, I wouldn't say too much intuition, but maybe suspicions, right? Worries, fears, anxieties. Okay. This would be, again, from a period of time in the past. Now, this could be worries about anything for each and every one of you, right? So this could be worries about how we're being treated by others. This could be worries about finances. This could be worries about up all night, like worrying about the children. This could be worries about COVID, all kinds of, just that sort of never ending sort of discomfort, right? Now, I see that we're now further away from that with this Nine of Cups in the center. We've kind of come to this, we've overcome that in some way, shape, or form. I find this to be an interesting card as the foundation. I don't know if I'm comfortable with it as the foundation. I'm going to be honest, Leo. So we're going to look at what the outside influences are and what the soul card is just to kind of get an idea. But this is a foundation card. I want to think that that Nine of Cups will outdo this Nine of Swords, but I don't like, I'm just going to say that. I don't like that it's sitting in this position. Even though this is in the past, I don't want Leo to slip into any sort of, or here's the best way I would put this. Be aware if you find yourself slipping into patterns of worry when you don't need to. Does that make sense? Because this worry to me feels like it might have been something that became very commonplace for you in the past, where you were doing it maybe not only just for yourself, but maybe worrying for others, trying to make sure that they were taken care of, that they were okay. And it took its toll on you, is kind of the feeling that I get. Like the Nine of Swords is never an easy card. It's never it's very stressful. And so I think that even if it was like, I'm okay, but I'm worried about this person, and you spend a lot of time kind of trying to take care of figuring out their situation for them, if that was, it might have been the scenario for you. And now maybe they're in a little bit better of a place. We don't want you to slide into any worry for other people or trying to caretake for other people. This month to me feels like it's about you and your emotions and taking care of yourself and allowing good things to come to you versus worrisome things, okay? But there is definitely this interesting sort of attraction thing that's happening, because if you look at this cat, we have all of these swords pointed at this cat. It's almost like he's attracting these negative thoughts in his own way too. So there's been a level of, I would go so far as to say that you guys might be inadvertently or unaware of how and what it is you're attracting on a very large scale. So be aware of that too. That's the spinning light of like orb of energy, power, auric field, whatever you want to call this. You guys have been drawing things in. It feels like to me as I'm looking at these cards, and at different times they've been, different levels of stuff. So it's like when things are really bad, they're really, really bad. But when they're good, they can be really, really great. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for you guys. Now, let's look to the spirit or soul card. This tells me a bit about where your spirit or soul is at, what your higher self wants you to sort of look at, focus on, work with during the month of April. I'll take it. Knight of Swords. Now, this to me is the complementary energy to the fire that is Leo, right? Knight of Swords, I like this particular drawing of the Knight of Swords because he comes in on this owl. He rides an owl versus a traditional horse, and he always looks like he's speeding in, which is very much a Knight of Swords artwork, right? There's always a swiftness to the Knight of Swords. Knights to me always indicate, loyalty, doing the right thing for the right reasons. Sometimes maybe, mucking things up in the process of trying to do the right thing. But with the Knight of Swords here, I like that he's on an owl because there's like a knowledge base that I get from that owl. There's a purity to that owl being white. And I love that he's sort of swooping in. It's not just him. He's kind of got this other like sort of helper, this pure white spirit in a way of the owl. And this being in this spirit space says to me, keeping our mind fresh, clear, working with our own spirit or higher self. Now, go with me on this, Leo, because it sounds a little crazy, but what if this owl, like metaphorically, was your higher self? right? Let's just say that for a moment. Full of knowledge, full of purity, full of beauty, full of grace, full of fierceness, right? All of these qualities that would be represented in this owl. Able to manipulate and move through dark night situations, apt hunter, all of those, the king of how do I want to say this? The king of the jungle version of birds, right? But what I get from this is that there's also a clarity of mental thought with this Knight of Swords, right? That we want to be keyed into, or that our higher self is asking us to connect with during this month. And the reason why is I feel like he sort of balances out that Nine of Swords that's beneath, that's on the bottom, right? Which allows my Leos to kind of hover right into that Nine of Cups, where in your purity, in your strength, in your deftness, in your ability to kind of move quickly, make clear decisions, accurate, all of that sort of stuff that we see here from that higher place or that higher mind, we're able to stay attracting good, beneficial things that feel right and that are worthy of us, that we can value and be grateful for, versus getting caught in some of the worries and fears of the past. Does that make sense? So the Knight of Swords is kind of like the antidote to this foundation, where if we find ourselves with situations that we were dealing with in the past that caused us great worry, and those situations aren't fully cleared as of yet, don't worry. That might be why this Nine of Swords is still sitting in the foundation. There might be some things that aren't fully settled yet, right? Like things that we were worried about much more so before that are coming to a close, but they're not quite completely closed. For each one of you, that might be a different scenario or a different situation around something. But this Knight of Swords in your spirit space says to me, be agile, pivot in your thoughts, stay clear in your mind, connect your mind to your higher mind or your higher self, and stay in that sort of buoyant, clear place so that you can really reap the benefits of what this Nine of Cups offers you throughout the month, right, of April. All right, now let's go to the outside influences. The outside influences indicate things that are having either positive or negative effect on you during the month of April. They can be people or events, sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies that you have adopted and thought were your own, but they're not necessarily you. They're outside of you. They're just affecting you. So let's look and see what they are. I'll take it. So one is the Temperance card. This is Sag energy. So let's go, Sag. Work it out. This is Major Arcana. This is a very beautiful, beautiful energy and card. And this is what sort of brings in this Nine of Cups energy, right? Where we're in this Nine of Cups, we're celebrating ourselves, we're celebrating our emotions, how we feel, we're trying to settle into feeling good, letting go of fear, letting go of worry, keeping our mind clear at a higher space. And we have the outside influence of Temperance coming in a very big way. But Temperance is a very peaceful sort of card. It's about balance. It's about not getting caught up in the fray. It's about maybe not entertaining the thoughts or fears or worries of others, not necessarily having to take on the problems, the dramas, and the upsets of others. And that doesn't make us a bad person, right? It just means that we're sort of maintaining a peace or a balance in our life, right? It's interesting too. I got to go back and reference back to the Aries reading that I just did. Another parallel that I'm seeing between Aries and their I Am card, they had this rainbow of color that made me think of the chakras over here for them. And for you, this just feels like the aura to me, right? Your whole aura and the attraction and the light that is within. But I just find it funny that we do have a rainbow in this outside influence for you too. So Aries, and also Aries was doing a little bit something different than that normal dynamic fire action taking oriented sort of stance that fire signs usually like to be, where they like to be productive and doing and getting things done and all of that. To me, there's a more emotive feeling that's happening amongst the Aries and Leos, especially with this Nine of Cups in the center for you guys. And also Aries cards were indicating that a little bit. They had the Queen of Pentacles and a couple of things that made me feel like, oh, they want something that's a little bit deeper, that's a little bit more, and I feel that too, the same way with the Nine of Cups. It feels more emotionally connected, settled, stable, intuitively guided, right? And so when we see that temperance energy coming in from the outside, it's like almost like the world wants to meet us where we want to be. But we have to choose wisely. Which nine do we choose? Don't slip back into that Nine of Swords, Leo. All right, so let's go to the other outside influence and see what, oh God, okay. We have the Seven of Cups. All right, so the Seven of Cups usually indicates confusion, one too many choices, the buffet is a little full, like, oh my God, I don't know which, is this really real? Is this even plausible? Is this a good idea, right? It can represent a little bit of distress, not being able to make a decision, that sort of thing. It could be mixed messages coming. But I do love the strength of the temperance on the other side. We get a choice. And I think that we get a choice between temperance and the seven, right? Of Seven of Cups, where we can go with this beautiful kind of maintaining peace and calm energy throughout the month in a really profound and big way, or we can get caught up in sort of, the confusion of the Seven of Cups and get pulled in emotional directions by things, by choices, by others, by their needs. And I think that's part of what it's almost like we have these three cards working together and we have sort of these three cards working, like together. Does that make sense? So when we're caught up in the confusion or the outside influence of the Seven of Cups and it wants to tap in and like those cups want to kind of mess up the how do I want to say this, the balance that we, or the emotional well-being that we feel in that Nine of Cups, it's easier to slip down into this Nine of Swords, into that worry space. We don't want to do that this month. We want to rise up and fly high in with our higher self, our higher knowledge, our higher intuition, our higher intelligence, trusting that in our emotional sort of center, and then gearing ourselves towards the power and the strength and the peace, the calm, riding in the middle of the lane, like staying out of trouble, so to speak, if that makes sense. Not choosing a side if a side's asking to be chosen this month. Just do you, Leo, is kind of the feeling that I'm getting from that Temperance card, and let peace reign for you this month versus months previous where it hasn't maybe felt so peaceful because you've been worried about, whatever you maybe have been struggling with, okay? There is an option to be free of those struggles, but there's also, with that Seven of Cups there's an option to go kind of right back to it, if that makes sense. So we don't want to. The next card is what I call the potential outcomes. This card tells me a bit about sort of where things are naturally heading, barring that nothing major changes. This card is not set in stone, though, so know that if it's a negative card, we can use it as a warning to make choices and changes in our lives to affect the outcome, so that we are not, we don't have to experience it. But if it is a beneficial card, we can take heart in the fact that we are naturally heading towards it. We don't have to do much to change it. We would just sort of progress towards it. So let's see what it is. I'll take it. So we've got the third nine, the Nine of Pentacles. So 999. Somebody call 999. Leo's got a problem. No, nine of Pentacles is a beautiful way to end out this month, guys. It's grounded. It's sort of, it definitely is in what's the word? In harmony with that Nine of Cups to me. The Nine of Pentacles would indicate really pure and unadulterated sort of independence. If some of my Leos are feeling like things have been a bit messy in the past of recent due to maybe others that we care about and their problems, and they've been causing worries for us, it might be time to sort of, like I said, step more towards that temperance, step more towards maintaining that balance, staying out of it's not like you guys are placing yourselves in other people's lives, but if people are requiring your help or whatever it might be, you don't always have to give it. Does that make sense? I don't want to tell you not to help others because I know that you guys like to do that. But if it comes at the sacrifice of your own well-being or sanity, don't do it, is my feeling with these cards. I like that by the end of the month, regardless of how you choose to handle it, it looks like you're going to end up in a place where you feel okay. You feel fine, you feel independent, you feel like you have what you need. The Nine of Pentacles would indicate that. It would indicate like having that sort of abundance and all of the things that you would want and need. And also still being grounded and grateful for all of that. So even if you do struggle in some of the confusion of the Seven of Cups, or maybe slip into some of the worries of the past, of that Nine of Swords, ultimately in the end, you guys are going to be okay and you'll see your way through it. That's definitely my feeling for you guys with that Nine of Pentacles is the outcome. But that Temperance is so much more of a like sort of a beautiful walk throughout the month of April. Does that make sense? Like it's like we get to stop and enjoy and sniff the flowers and frolic in the fields. Maybe some of you can't do that. Maybe you might financially have to, make ends meet in a way that doesn't allow you to have the peace and solitude that Temperance card offers. But if you find moments where you can, take it while you can, because I think that energy helps to lead you to that Nine of Pentacles too. Ultimately, though, you're going to end up being grateful, thankful, taken care of, and maybe even taking care of others too a little bit, but you don't have to if you don't want to, is kind of the feeling that I get here, Leo. It's okay to be independent and take care of yourself and make sure that your needs are met first and foremost. Yeah, that's the reading that I'm going to give you guys for April. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked the video, please give a thumbs up. I will be back to do Sagittarius in a few moments, and then you guys will see me tomorrow again for the Earth signs. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please share the channel with your friends, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you need to find me, I put the link tree, my newest link tree with all of my links to different things like my Amazon wish list, my Patreon page, my Instagram, all that stuff. So you can find me wherever you need to find me. All right, take care, you guys, and have a wonderful April. And thank you for being such wonderful, bright lights. All right, take care. Bye-bye.